that down. Let's move on to this, shall we? You know, one of the things that we understand is that if you are a top person in a big company that is worth billions of dollars, your top people are going to make a lot of money, particularly your CEOs. We understand that, right? Your top men. If you are responsible for steering a $10 billion ship, you're going to be compensated a lot, right? But you know who really gets compensated a lot? Movie industry CEOs. And I mean a lot. More so, according to a new report in the LA Times, than what everybody else gets. As a matter of fact, Rob, movie industry CEOs, despite the fact that the movie industry is struggling right now, movie industry CEOs, on average, get paid nearly double what profitable S&P 500 company CEOs are making while the movie industry is struggling. Take a look at this. So according to the LA Times, the average movie CEO salary comes in at about $33.9 million, while the average CEO of the 500 biggest companies of the S&P 500 averages around 17.1. That means if you're the CEO of a money-losing, failing movie company, on average, you're making more than double of what the average CEO of other profitable S&P 500 companies are. Some of the highlights. The two Netflix CEOs make over $60 million each. David Zaslav of Warner Brothers makes $51 million. Now, granted, I've heard when they split the company, he's going to take a reduction, but as of now, $51 million. Bob Iger, CEO of Disney, makes $41 million. Bob Babkish, who is no longer at Paramount, but his last thing was $31 million. Hell, even Roku, CEO of this entertainment industry thing, Anthony Wood, makes $27.7 million, to illustrate how out of whack this whole thing is. Pull this one out. Just a reminder. In 2020 and 2021, AMC Theaters, when this company was spiraling the drain, AMC Theaters more than doubled Adam Aron's compensation, the CEO of AMC Theaters, including bonuses, taking him from $9.7 million in compensation to $20.9 million. And what did he do? What was the big thing he did? Because of the pandemic going on, for laying off 26,000 people. As AMC was circling the drain, they doubled how much money he took home that year and laid off 26,000 people. He gave himself a double pat on the back. By the way, I just want to remind everybody that by my calculations and by my estimation, the only reason AMC Theaters still exists today is because of the GameStop meme stock phenomenon that happened. That's it. Without that, as far as I'm concerned, AMC wouldn't even exist anymore today. Something that they had nothing to do with, they fell ass backwards lucky into this thing where their stock went up 1,000% and they sold that. Then they did the right thing. They sold off a bunch of their stock to raise capital. Without that, they'd be extinct. They'd be bankruptcy. In the midst of that, they decided to double their CEO's take-home money at the expense of laying off 26,000 people. Now, look, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying people who have big responsibilities should not be paid big. I'm not suggesting that at all. I believe if you have big responsibilities, you should be paid big. I'm also not saying that you should take CEO's money and give it to everybody else in the company. I'm not necessarily saying that either. But the fact that you practically gave, through bonuses and whatnot, a $10 million present to a jackass of a CEO while laying off 26,000 people at the same time. Look, you may not think that $450 sounds like a lot. I get it. $450 doesn't sound like a lot. But if you're somebody working at AMC theaters and the pandemic hits and you're all of a sudden out of a job, you know what that $450 represents? That $450 represents you being able to feed your family and your kids for a month. That $450 means you might be able to have a couple of months of car payments if you have a lower car payment. That $450 could be the difference between the lights being turned off and the lights being kept on for a month. They literally could have paid those 26,000 people. Instead of giving Adam Aaron an extra $10 million, you literally could have cut a check for every single one of those 26,000 employees that you laid off. Could have given them all almost a check for just about $450, which to Adam Aaron, that's nothing. That's the appetizer he orders at Forest Glen. But to a lot of those kids, could have made the difference between keeping your car and losing your car. Anyway, again, this is not all about Adam Aaron, of course not. But I mean, again, Rob, it's one thing that I could look at these numbers and say, well, you know, in the S&P 500, these movie businesses are the top performers. These movie businesses are the ones that are really revving the engines. But in many cases, we're talking about a struggling industry.
Yeah.
And CEOs in this industry, whether they be studios or streamers or whatever, CEOs in this industry are getting on average more than double what CEOs in other more profitable companies are getting. And then everybody wonders why movie ticket prices are going up. I'm not saying it's a one-to-one thing, but you know, anyway, you hear these stats, you see these numbers. What's your first takeaway from this?
Well, my first take is I want to call David Ellison at Skydance and say I'll be happy to step in for $7.5 million a year.
Bargain.
Yeah, well, I'll take over what Bob Bakish did, and I'll put Star Trek back on a paying basis. I promise.
It's like you're letting them steal from you,
Absolutely,
Rob.
John. I'm perfectly willing to, cut my just to work for that rate. But no, I mean, I think it's crazy. Again, Hollywood has always had a very large opinion of itself. Now, look, I could understand if you're a company like a Disney and you're making billions of dollars a year off your I've always thought this kind of thing should be performance based, in a way that if you're a CEO and you're getting and some of it is, I mean, there's bonuses and things built into it, but
yes.
But I mean, look, it's a publicly held company, and some people their compensation has been voted down. You're not going to get this compensation. And I do think in times like this, I mean, look, everyone's got to get paid. Everyone wants to get, I get it. But, if a business is struggling, of course, in a capitalistic society, you're never going to get people to be like, I'm going to accept less money because the company's not doing as well as we'd all hoped. So I'm willing to be the nice guy and cut my compensation. We just don't live in that world. So you're going to get what you can, when you can, how you can. It's Jimmy Fallon and Almost Famous or whatever. But I think it's the level of pay is ridiculous. I mean, I would say if I was getting, say, $60 million, I'm like, I'll tell you what, I'll take 30 million, but I want 30 million, the other 30 million, and I want to produce a movie. And I want to get first dollar gross for my $30 million movie that I'm going to produce. That's what I would do. I'd take less compensation, make a product. I mean, I'm sure that's ridiculous to say, but that's what I would do because I'd want to make a movie. But it's still, I mean, the kinds of money, the product that you're making is movies. And if someone's getting 30 million or 40 or $50 million as their compensation, you could actually make a theatrically released feature and still pay yourself $20 million a year. I mean, that's crazy money compared to what you're making. And it should be tied to what your yearly income for your company is.
Again, I am not at all suggesting that I don't believe that people with big responsibilities should not be paid big money. I completely believe they should. Absolutely. I'm just saying, when you look at one industry that is struggling, and their CEOs are making double what other big S&P 500 company CEOs are making, something's not right there. That doesn't make sense.
I don't know. Zaza looks pretty happy.
Oh, yeah. This is my milliophone.
Yeah.
Come on.
It's my milliophone. Something's got to rebalance. There has to be something there. So anyway, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? Again, I am not suggesting at all that movie CEOs, movie business CEOs should not be making big money. They should be making big money, 100%. You have big responsibilities. You're steering a multi-billion-dollar ship. You should be paid the big bucks. You should be paid double what other more successful industry CEOs are making. I don't know. Something seems really weird about this. Anyway, whatever you guys think about this, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching this video. Make sure you like the video, leave a comment, and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget, we have a daily podcast called the John Campea Show podcast, available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcasting app of choice. Go and subscribe to it today so it'll be there when you need it.